we are going to give our goldfish some of this stuff. It's bloodworms. Never mind the brand name. There are more than one brand name of these out there. What you're looking for is whether they're freeze-dried or not. And we want freeze-dried. And you want a short ingredient list. You don't want one that's, got bloodworms and then 1,000 other things. A few other things is fine because you want to have some shelf life. But what they are actually is mosquito larvae. These are the larvae of mosquitoes. They're freeze-dried, of course. They're not actually going to produce mosquitoes. But fish absolutely love them. These fish were about, I'd say, less than half as big as they are now. About a third the size they are now when I bought them from the pet store 3 months ago. Yeah, it was about 3 months ago now. Look how big they are now. Enormous. And they love their bloodworms. Look at them go. The reason why this water is so clear, and it's actually fairly cool too, cool to the touch, because of that thing. There is a pump under the ground, under the water, about the size of a shoebox, and it has a coarse filter and a fine filter, these foam filters inside of it, along with these little plastic balls that have pores in them. And there's a pump in there that draws water in through itself, through what they call an impeller. It's like a propeller, but it spins, instead of spinning to blow water or air away from it, it spins the other way and draws water through it. And that's why it's an impeller. And it draws the water through it, through all the filters, through the holes in the plastic box, and then up and produces pressure, and then shoots it up through that pipe. And there's a low enough amount of head pressure. The pump is just barely powerful enough to bring that load of water up to the top of the pump of the pipe and out to the top, so that I don't have to have a I don't have a sprayer. I don't have a any little tiny holes in the top of that. I used to. There's a thing it came with that looked kind of like a shower head, and it kept getting plugged up all the time. I'd say it would run maybe 2-3 days, and it would need cleaned again. I got tired of it. So I just took the little shower head looking thing off, and thought, well, let's see what happens. If it geysers way up high in the air, I'll adjust the settings, because there's a little knob down in there that you can turn on the side of the pump and on the junction, the T that pipe is attached to. Is another little valve, ball valve, that I could lower if it had shot way up high in the air, but it didn't. It went up like that, so I like it like that. And the funny thing is, the fish actually seem to prefer. They seem to prefer this kind of bubbling over the spray. When it was spraying, it was sending water droplets like clear out all over the pond, and the fish wouldn't come to the surface unless you turned the pump off. I think they didn't like it. I think they thought they were going to get hit by lightning, or who knows what they were thinking. They were trying to avoid that rain, and it actually was bothering them. So I think they prefer this method, and it does a very good job. The filters need cleaned. Well, the manual says they clean them once a week. When I first put it in the pond, I was getting maybe 4 days out of it before it was pretty plugged up. The pond was pretty dirty. But now that it's fairly clean, I can get just about 2 weeks, sometimes a little bit over 2 weeks out of it before I need to clean the filters. All I do is wash them out with a strong blast of water from a hose. I don't have to replace them. The filters are supposed to last about a year, they say. Anyway, these are beautiful little fish. All kinds of different colors of them. There's some white and orange ones, some all orange ones. There's a few black ones in there, which you can barely see because they're black. And there's some brown ones. There's a black and orange one. They're doing very well. These plants were already in the pond when we bought the house, but I transplanted them into these baskets. You can barely see them, but they're proper pond baskets with holes in them, so the water can flow through them on the sides and the bottom. They were just in the flower pots they were purchased in, and they were getting root bound. So I transplanted them. They're doing a lot better now. They're a lot happier. And I just thought I'd show you my pond. And I think I've tried to show it before, but the water was so murky you really couldn't see much. And what better time to show the pond than feeding time? That's when the fish are... And these fish have become kind of tame. When I first bought them, and I put them in the water for about the first month or so, month and a half, they wouldn't come anywhere near me. If I approached the surface of the water like this, they would swim away. They would swim to the bottom of the pond and they swim way out to the edges. But now they figured out that I'm not going to eat them. I'm not going to pick them out of there, you know. And I'm where the food comes from. I'm their source of food. So now they come right to me. So, but they come over to the edge of the pond when they hear me talking, even, or when they see me. So they're about as tame as fish get, I would say. I haven't taught them any little tricks yet or anything. I'm not sure if that's possible with goldfish. But this is the old water fountain. This was the water fountain that was operating when we bought the house back in January. But I got tired of trying to keep the pump clean. This thing's not designed very well for cleaning, and it had no filters. So that pump got plugged up a lot. And it was a real pain in the neck to keep clean. I leave it there because it gives the birds a place to perch when they're trying to get a drink of water out of the pond. And earlier this summer, I had a lot of honeybees out here. I'm not sure where they all went. Hopefully they found a new place to live. Hopefully they didn't get sprayed with pesticides or something. But they would land on this thing and walk all over it and walk down to the surface of the water to get their drinks. But yeah, that's my pond. I'm not sure what everything is. This is the papyrus. I know that one. It's doing better than it was. It was looking pretty sorry for itself there for a while. I think even transplanted helped it. And this over here is a rush, some kind of rush. I'm not sure what that over there is. It doesn't actually, that one over there doesn't actually grow in the ground. When I went to transplant it, it was just floating on top of its pot. It wasn't even in its pot anymore. So that's how it likes to live. It just kind of floats on the water with little bladders. And there's the plant over there too. I'm not sure what that one is at all. But thanks for watching.